Hey, good morning, everybody. Let's see if everyone can let's see if I can stay awake for the next few minutes. Had to get up early to get my coffee. Fast and Eretz Rolls 5:25. So I got up at like about 10 to 5. Usually have a bowl of cereal like twice a year. So Teves and like 10 Esther. So just took a bowl of cereal, a little oatmeal, and a coffee. Let's see if we can make it through. I'll see how we go. So Parsh Vaiyechi, my favorite kliyakar. You have the time to look at it. Talks about uh, that people did well in chutzlars. They did well in Golos. They did well in Mitzrayim, and it's kind of like a shot kliyakar takes at people. Nothing against anybody listening. Taking a shot at people that kind of really put their lives and buy really fancy stuff in chutzlars and not giving up a little bit um, on Mashiach and Geula. So Kliyakar takes a shot about that, and that kind of hits home a lot. But I'm not going to talk about that. We've already talked about it. So this week's parsha, we have very interesting back and forth with Yaakov and Yosef, beginning of the parsha. And Yaakov's before he gives the bracha to Yosef's children, we know Malcha Goel. Yaakov is saying over to Yosef that Hashem appeared to me, Beluz be'eretz Canaan, by Baruchosi, Yomer Elai, Nisatis Arsos, Nisachercha, Blus Olam. Okay, and you'll get the land, will be to your children after you. And Marba Shemesh says something interesting, which no one picks up on it, I don't think, is that every time it mentions this place of Beit El, where the dream was, Yaakov goes back there later, it's called Luza, but it's really names as Beit El. And many times in the Torah it mentions the names together. It says Beit El was called Luz Barushona, or it says just Beit El. We never find where it says Luza by itself, except for here. It's the only time where it mentions Nirelai Beluz. There's Canaan. It doesn't mention the fact that, oh, Beit El Barishana. It says Luza, which is an interesting pickup. No one really talks about that. And the other pickup is Archa Acharecha, your children after you. Obviously, your children are after you. So Hashem says Eretz Yisrael is for you and your children after you. Yaakov, well, just because it said children, I know children after me, they should be in Eretz Yisrael. So remember Shemesh is a very interesting take on this, where he talks about what his problem was, what is his concern. When he says when Yosef brings the two children, Ephraim and Asher, who weren't children anymore, they were adults, he says, Mi'ela. It's very difficult to think that Yaakov didn't know who they were. He knew Yosef, he knew the whole family. They were there for 17 years living. Um, Even if you're a horrible grandfather, you don't see your grandchildren too often. I'm actually going to see my granddaughter Bishab. She's coming, so don't look at me that way. I'm sure Yaakov knew who the children were. So the question is, what does it mean, Mi Ela? Who are these people? So Rav Shemesh has a very interesting take, and those people who are big Zohar people, there's two interesting concepts, which um, brings down the concept me and then Ela. Um, there's two types of ways to live in this world. There's the me. The me part is who, the why, the what, who's doing this, and the job, and in the world of thought, the world of machshava. A person gets up in the morning, you have your coffee, and that's the Ayla part. The Ayla part is really what's in front of you, and the me part is the asking part. And a lot of times we look at the world, it's there. We have a computer, we have our fancy pictures on the wall, we have our coffee, we do our mitzvahs, we don't do it, get up in the morning, we put effort into davening, we don't, learning, we do it. But do we really think about what we're doing? Do we try to contemplate what's our purpose in the world? We kind of try to contemplate what's our purpose, how to serve Hashem better. Um, why are we doing this? Why are we not doing this? Are we doing the mitzvah the right way? That's the me part. The me part is the thought process, and the ale is what's ahead of you, what exists. And our job is not just to see what exists in front of us or just to think about it, but l'chaber is to join these things together. Our actions should be tied to what we're doing. Every action we're doing should be a machshava behind it. Am I doing something? Am I clearly thinking about something? I'm not thinking about it. What's the best way to approach a mitzvah, approach my day, approach learning, approach giving tzedakah, going a little bit beyond the action. And that's literally what Marvasham is bringing this point down. The point to me and Ayla. And what's interesting, besides Yaakov saying me Ayla, because he's reticent to give the brachos, he says, me Ayla. Are these people going to connect to me and the Ayla? The bracha, give the bracha to do well in Eretz Yisrael and survive in the world is people that connect me and Ayla. I see there's a Yehu, I see there's Yeshua, but I see also sinners. I see Yerubim. I see terrible people here. Are these people really worthy for it? Um, that's the question. That's the question. I see Rabam, I see bad people. Maybe these people aren't really Zocha and right to do this. So Yosef has to say, they're my children. These are the children Hashem gave me. And Yosef is saying, they're my children. Yaakov knew that. No. Yosef is saying, they're my children. Because what I would say is, I'm Yosef. These are my children. The answer is, I've done this. I've survived. If one person who accomplished everything, the most accomplished person in the world to this point was Yosef, who saves the whole world with how to survive the famine, and still is consistent, is still the tzaddik, that's me. I'm Yosef. These are my children. So if someone can compare, can combine the ruchnis and the gashmis together and excel in any situation, is me, and these are my children. And that's the tefillah the Yosef says. This is the answer the Yosef gives back, and this satisfies Yaakov, and Yaakov bless the children. And Marv Shemesh goes further with the point of luza. We know that luz is the bone that's in your back or somewhere. Gemara says this is going to be the cornerstone of Tchias Mason. All the bones are going to come back from the luz bone. The luz bone is only sustained through the food of Mava Malka. What does that even mean? Well, luz bone did not get sustenance from Eitz Hadas. So the luz bone did not exist really, or wasn't sustained with the food that ate Adam and Chava sin with. So the luz sets aside. The luz is only sustained with food that's after Shabbos, literally Matzah Shabbos, that wasn't the 6 days. And this is luz. And Yaakov makes a point to say, I've survived by being like this. The luz bone, which doesn't enjoy from this planet, this is my life. And we know the famous Gemara of Rebbe. Rebbe picked up his hands and said, I didn't prophet didn't enjoy anything in this world that I shouldn't have. And we know Rebbe was the most wealthy person at the time. And for Rebbe to say this, Rebbe who was made that nothing in this world he enjoyed, even though he had all these foods, but nothing was a Gashmis experience. Everything he did channeled it to Ruchnis. Everything he did, everything he ate, everything was a Ruchnis type of meal, an enjoyment. And Yaakov and Rebbe was a spark of Yaakov. That was Yaakov's life. Even though we know that Yaakov he goes through all the parshas, many psukim talk about business, talk about the wealth of Yaakov, the efforts he did. But at the end of the day, the Torah is made of Yaakov, that even though he was wealthy, he didn't enjoy anything in this world that he shouldn't have enjoyed. And this is the lesson that we have to be like Yaakov. The Yalkut, the Ali Shore, quotes the Yalkut that we're not supposed to just go around all day and do things, we don't do things, our mitos are good, mitos are bad. We're supposed to really believe we're from the Avos. And even though we can't reach the level, we have to strive to it. Palavavcha, Panafcha, Palamedecha. The Vavcha, the Yalkut says, is like Abraham. And Nafshacha, giving up your life, like a Yitzchak. And Chol Meodecha is Yaakov. We should strive there. And the Alishur, quite beautifully, has an interesting mashal uh, where you have to, before you give Musar, um, you have to remember who you are. You're a chashuv person. You're from the Avos. Um, you walk into an antique store and you drop something, you feel bad. But when someone says, you don't understand something, that's 1,000 years old, you don't just feel bad, you feel 1,000 times worse than the minute before. You drop something on the floor, you spill something, okay, you feel bad. But if you damage something valuable, precious, it's a lot worse. And Ali Shore says this is literally what we're supposed to think before you get into midos, before you really talk about musar. If you really think how great you are, how special you are, and who you're attached to, and all the lessons you're supposed to get, that helps your musar. Then it really is important to look at your midos because you're really a special person. You're a Jewish person from the Avos. And this is the lesson that the Marv Shemesh is talking about when he talks about luz and not enjoying from this world. It's okay to enjoy from this world, but attaching it to a ruchnius piece. And this is what the Marv Shemesh talks about, is dafka luz. If you actually like luz, meaning like not enjoying from this world and channeling your pleasures into ruchnius, then the land will be zaracha acharecha. You'll be for your children after you, meaning if your children are like you, not just zaracha, but Mar Hashem says, Hashem saying, your children should be like you. If you're truly seeing the world in a Ruchni's light, Eretz Yisrael, you get there, oh, the tour wasn't great, it involved, the food was cold, I got a spot, and then someone stole my parking spot. It's not what I go to Eretz Yisrael for. You can't compare Eretz Yisrael from a beauty standpoint. It's a Ruchni standpoint. That's what makes Eretz Yisrael the center of the world, is the Ruchni's perspective. And you come to Eretz Yisrael, whether visiting, you live here, um, are there nicer places? Is Wyoming aesthetically nicer than going up in the hills here? Perhaps. But we're not here. That's not the beauty of Eretz Yisrael. The beauty of Eretz Yisrael is the Ruchni's part. And therefore, if your children are like you, Yaakov, your children are like you, who see the Ruchnis and everything, who can kind of mechaber the aesthetics and the Ruchnis together, then you'll be in Eretz Yisrael. Then you'll be successful in Eretz Yisrael, and no one will be able to throw you out of Eretz Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom.